The fluorescent lights of the corporate cafeteria hummed a monotonous, indifferent tune, a sound Richard Sterling usually tuned out. As the CEO of Well, one of the nation's largest food and beverage conglomerates, his days were a whirlwind of board meetings, shareholder calls, and strategic forecasting. Lunch was a necessary but inconvenient interruption. Yet, on this particular Tuesday, something held his attention. It was the woman behind the salad bar. She moved with an economy of motion that was almost elegant, her hands deftly tossing greens, portioning toppings, and arranging plates with a precision that seemed out of place amidst the clatter of trays and the low roar of employee chatter. She was a black woman, maybe in her late 30s or early 40s, with eyes that held a deep, quiet intelligence. He'd seen her before, of course, but today, he noticed her. An idea, born of a recent and rather grating DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion seminar, sparked in his mind. The consultant had droned on about engaging with employees at all levels and breaking down hierarchical barriers. Richard, a man of action, had found it all a bit abstract. But now, looking at this woman, the words took on a practical shape. What could be more symbolic, more visible, than inviting a frontline employee to their most prestigious event? It would be a powerful gesture. He'd invite her to the summit. He strode to the counter, his expensive suit a stark contrast to the sea of business casual attire. "Excuse me," he said, his voice accustomed to commanding attention. The woman looked up, her expression neutral. "Yes, sir. What can I get for you?" "I'm Richard Sterling, the CEO of Well." He offered a practiced, charming smile. "I've noticed you here. You have a real efficiency in your work. What's your name?" "Evelyn Reed," she replied, her voice calm and even. "Well, Evelyn, we have our annual nutrition summit coming up. It's a major event for us. I'd like to personally invite you to attend as my guest. To see the bigger picture of what we're all working towards here at Well." A flicker of something unreadable passed through Evelyn's eyes. A few of her co-workers glanced over, their eyebrows raised in surprise. She paused for a beat longer than expected before responding. "The Nutrition Summit? I'm aware of it. Thank you, Mr. Sterling. That's a very thoughtful gesture. I accept." Richard felt a swell of self-satisfaction. It was a good deed, and a smart PR move rolled into one. "Excellent. My assistant will be in touch with the details." He walked away, already mentally composing the email to his leadership team about his ground-level engagement initiative. He had invited the cafeteria worker. He had done his part. He had no idea what he had truly done. Dr. Evelyn Reed went home that evening to a small apartment cluttered not with trinkets, but with books. Stacks of them. The Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry, Cellular and Molecular Gastroenterology and Hepatology, Nature Reviews Microbiology. On her laptop, open tabs displayed complex diagrams of metabolic pathways and datasets from recent clinical trials. The nameplate on her desk, a small, self-indulgent gift from her mother years ago, read, Dr. Evelyn Reed, Ph.D., Nutritional Biochemistry. Desperate, she took the first job that offered a decent paycheck and health insurance, a food service position contracted at the Well corporate headquarters. The irony was so bitter it was almost comical. Here she was, a published expert in nutritional science, serving kale to executives who would later sit in boardrooms discussing strategies based on research she could probably recite from memory. Richard Sterling's invitation was, on the surface, insulting. He saw her as a prop, a symbol. He didn't see her. But beneath the initial sting of indignation, a different feeling began to bubble up. It was an opportunity. A ridiculous, backdoor, almost poetic opportunity. For months, she had been a ghost in the machine, her intellect and training completely invisible. Now, the head of the machine had unwittingly invited the ghost to the banquet. She smiled, a slow, genuine smile for the first time that day. "All right, Mr. Sterling," she whispered to the empty room. "Let's go to the summit." The summit was held in a lavish hotel ballroom, a symphony of brushed steel, recessed lighting, and the low hum of important people making important conversation. Richard felt a familiar sense of pride as he surveyed the scene. Banners with slogans like, "Nourishing Tomorrow," and "The Science of Sustenance," hung from the ceiling. The air buzzed with intellectual energy. He spotted Evelyn near the registration desk. She looked different. Gone was the drab uniform, replaced by a simple but elegant navy blue dress. Her hair was styled impeccably, and she wore a pair of understated glasses that framed her intelligent eyes. She wasn't just blending in, she had a presence. "Evelyn. Glad you could make it," Richard said, guiding her into the main hall. "Quite a scene, isn't it? These are the people shaping the future of what we eat." "It's impressive," she said, her eyes scanning the room with an expert's appraisal, not a tourist's awe. Richard blinked. It was a remarkably articulate summary, far more than he'd expect from a cafeteria worker. "Exactly. You've been reading our company newsletters. Something like that, she said with a small, enigmatic smile. The first keynote speaker was Dr. Alistair Finch, a celebrated gastroenterologist whom Nourishwell had on a hefty retainer. He was a charismatic speaker, and the audience was captivated as he presented his latest findings on probiotic interventions. And so, our preliminary data suggests that a targeted application of Lactobacillus rhamnosus can significantly reduce inflammatory markers, Finch declared, pointing to a complex graph on the screen. Richard turned to look at her. I'm sorry, what was that? Evelyn seemed to catch herself. Oh, nothing. Just thinking aloud. It's fascinating stuff. Her comments weren't just insightful, they were technical, specific, and laced with the vocabulary of a seasoned professional. She spoke of functional metagenomics, immune homeostasis, and nutrient-gene interactions with a casual fluency that was utterly bewildering. The breaking point came during the afternoon panel on future avenues in microbiome research. The panel, composed of 4 men in gray suits, was discussing the challenge of developing a truly personalized nutrition plan. The problem is the sheer variability, one panelist said, sighing. We can sequence a person's microbiome, but translating that data into actionable dietary advice is still years away. It's the next great hurdle. From the audience, a clear, calm voice cut through the air. Perhaps the hurdle isn't the data, but the approach. All heads turned. It was Evelyn. She was standing, her posture poised and confident. Richard felt a jolt of panic. What was she doing? We're focused on identifying specific good or bad bacteria, Evelyn continued, her voice ringing with authority. But what if we focused on function instead of taxonomy? What if we categorized individuals based on their microbiome's functional capacity to metabolize different types of fiber and produce beneficial metabolites like butyrate? My research suggests that. Your research, the moderator interrupted, a condescending smile on his face. Ma'am, this is a highly specialized field. Are you a researcher? Richard's heart hammered in his chest. This was a disaster. He started to rise, to apologize, to smooth things over. But Evelyn didn't flinch. She looked directly at the moderator, her gaze steady. Yes, I am. My name is Dr. Evelyn Reed. My Ph.D. is in nutritional biochemistry from Johns Hopkins. My paper, Functional Redundancy and Metabolic Plasticity in the Gut Microbiome, a New Framework for Personalized Nutrition, was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition 3 years ago. It's been cited 74 times. The hurdle you're discussing is the central thesis of my work. A stunned silence fell over the ballroom. You could hear a pin drop. The moderator's jaw was slack. The panelists stared, dumbfounded. Richard Sterling felt the floor drop out from beneath him. He sank back into his chair, his mind reeling. Dr. Evelyn Reed. A published research scientist. The woman who served him his lunch. The woman he had invited here as a token, a prop for his corporate virtue signaling. He looked at her, truly looked at her, for the first time. He saw the years of frustration, the banked fire of a brilliant mind forced into dormancy. He saw the quiet dignity she had maintained while performing a job so profoundly beneath her capabilities. And he saw the sheer, unadulterated genius that he, in his ignorance and privilege, had been utterly blind to. The moderator, flustered, stammered, Dr. Reed. I apologize. I was not aware. Please, continue. And she did. For the next 10 minutes, Dr. Evelyn Reed held the entire summit in the palm of her hand. She spoke without notes, laying out a revolutionary framework for personalized nutrition that was years ahead of Nourishwell's current R&D. She connected disparate fields, cited competing studies, and proposed a clear, actionable path forward. It wasn't just a theory, it was a blueprint. The very blueprint his company had spent millions trying to create. When she finished, there was a moment of silence, and then the room erupted in applause. It wasn't polite clapping, it was a spontaneous, thunderous ovation. Researchers, doctors, and executives were on their feet, their faces a mixture of shock and admiration. Later, amidst the flurry of people trying to get a word with Dr. Reed, Richard finally managed to pull her aside. His face was a canvas of shame and awe. Dr. Reed. Evelyn. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, Mr. Sterling, she said, her voice even but with a new edge of steel. But you do have to listen. I'm listening, he said, his voice barely a whisper. I am so sorry. She let the words hang in the air. You wanted to know about the future of nutrition? You're looking at her. The question is, what are you and Nourishwell going to do about it? Richard Sterling didn't hesitate. Whatever you want, he said, the sincerity in his voice absolute. A lab? A research team? A new division? You name it. The floor is yours. A slow, triumphant smile spread across Dr. Evelyn Reed's face. It was the smile of a scientist who had just proven her hypothesis. It was the smile of a woman who had finally, after years in the shadows, been seen. The story of what happened at the Nourishwell Summit became a legend within the company and the industry. Dr. Evelyn Reed was appointed as the new Vice President of Microbiome Research and Innovation, given a state-of-the-art lab and a handpicked team. Within 2 years, her division had filed 3 groundbreaking patents that would redefine personalized nutrition and position Nourishwell as the undisputed leader in the field. Richard Sterling was a changed man. He spearheaded a radical overhaul of the company's hiring and promotion practices, implementing programs to actively identify and develop talent at every level, regardless of an employee's current role. He learned that true inclusion wasn't about performative gestures, it was about dismantling the barriers that keep brilliant minds from rising. Dr. Reed's story is a powerful testament to the incredible, often untapped, potential that lies hidden all around us. It's a reminder that genius knows no race, gender, or job title. It forces us to ask ourselves, how many other Evelyn Reeds are out there, waiting to be seen? Thank you for watching this incredible true story. If it moved you, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that matter.